Howdy, Possum Patty here, along with the Soggy Bottom bunch back there. They've got their blue snowflake lights on because it's snowing. We have Valentine visitors up front, Red Gnome number 5, little Pixie sitting in her donut doing her journaling. Ooh, don't forget Flat Stanley. He's got his Valentine's heart over there. Cup of tea, some English biscuits for snack time, and a slow stitch project to finish. So, yes, it's just a relaxing Saturday evening. So, why don't you grab a relaxing type kind of project? Yes. Or just sit back and relax. Yeah. And, get a hot beverage, a cold beverage, and pull up a chair and come on along. Well, everything that I've been working on is pretty much still on the table here. You may remember the Heart of Love I was making for Janet Nash. Yes, she had sent me one. It's on my apron, so I didn't put my apron on so I could hold this up close so you can see. And it's all hand stitched. It's got a little bird in a nest. Both sides are done. I had put a pin on it so I could put it on my apron. It does have a loop on the top. And so I was making her one in remembrance of her trip to Africa. And I showed you this when it was finished. I had some fabric with giraffes on it and another piece of fabric with elephants. And then I just pieced together some other colorful bits all around. I put some gold beads and some gold stitching there. And there's just, like French knots and little straight stitches. And I did do some sort of parallel stitches there to make some grass. And some X's down here and some French knots in the flowers. And just had fun. Putting that together. And then I did a little video where we put together the fun side. So this is pretty colorful, but then you turn it over and you've got a rainbow of monkeys and you've got rainbow zebras all in line going down to the watering hole. Well, today, just sitting back, relaxing and doing some stitching. So on the monkeys, I chose a color that was similar to what color they were and just stitched around them because I want to, sew the little bits of fabric to the heart. Aqua, green, orange, and red. And then I had some little bits of rainbows over here. Janet did say she saw a rainbow while they were in Africa. And then for the zebras, I just put yellow, orange, red, purple, and blue because red and blue are purple and yellow and red are orange. I put some stitches with some sparkly thread on the little watering hole down here. And to finish it off, I signed it, Possum Patty. The Yeppers, just so Janet won't forget who it's from. Not that you could forget, right? I forget everything. So what we have is a cotton batting heart, the same size, or maybe just a touch smaller than these hearts. And I'm just going to stitch around the edges with all 3 pieces together. And this will be done. But before I do that, I want to put the loop. Now, I could have picked ribbon, I could have picked fabric, but for some reason, I don't know, this is calling to me, and it's a very natural fiber loop. Maybe just because it's so natural looking, I wanted to put it on here because of all the nature that she saw while she was in Africa. And so I thought that I would stitch this to the batting before I put those pieces together. And I'm just going to put a couple of stitches in it and then go ahead and put it together. Probably don't need too many. Oh, I didn't put a knot. That's okay. We'll knot it this way. Oh, it was a very busy week. So today, Mr. Possum and I were just kicking back and relaxing, and I was doing some stitching, and he was playing his new video game, and I was also playing with my new birthday present. I'll show you that tomorrow. I'll show you tomorrow. Is this on here straight? It could be slightly wonky. Slightly wonky is good. Well, I don't think we need too many stitches, just a little X there. Oh, I should probably get some pins. Let me take a sip. Just decaffeinated regular tea. Because I have to hold all three of these pieces together while I stitch. Just put a couple of pins here. Try and get this a little bit even. If the batting's hanging out, that's okay. I can trim it up. But this is nothing fancy. It's just basically straight stitching, a couple of French knots, a couple of X's, and that's it. Very simple, humble stitching. Very relaxing to do. Janet said, no pressure getting it finished. And I was like, oh yes, it's stitched with love. Stitched with love. I had a very relaxing day. I had a lot of fun picking out the colors, yes. To get all these different colors on here. I thought that was super fun, very relaxing. And then trying to do my name, yes. I haven't done that very often. I tried a few in my slow stitch journal. Actually, Janet's name was one of the few that I did, and Leanne, and I forgot who else right now off the top of my head. But there. Okay, what am I going to do? Well, I am going to, see, I'm inside, so I want to come to the outside. So I'm just going to poke that through over there. I'm just going to make a straight stitch right here where the loop is, like that. But then, now that I'm over here, shall I go around the edge or continue with the straight stitching? I almost want to continue just with the straight stitching, so I think that's what I'm going to do. That's what's in my mind right now, and I've got to come in a little bit, pay attention, because both sides are not completely even. I want to make sure I'm hitting both sides. Looking pretty good. These little zebras and monkeys are so cute. All this fabric was gifted to me, yeah. Okay, now here's a question for you. You can answer this while I'm sewing. Do you say fabric or material? Now, growing up, I was always taught to say material. I need to go to the store and buy some material for my sewing project. How do you lay out the material to fit the pattern on? Do I need heavy material or lightweight material? It was always material. But then Joanne Fabrics came along. And fabrics, yes. And I still use the word material. And then I came on YouTube and I noticed that so many people actually say fabric. Now, is this a regional thing, a country thing? Is fabric more modern than material? Is fabric more old-fashioned than material? Well, this is interesting. These stitches are all on an angle, right where I went around that curve. That's okay. I think someone had mentioned chocolate digestives. I didn't see chocolate at the store this week. I just saw the original. I've never had these. It says it's from London. I told Mr. Possum I had to get those to have with my tea while I'm sewing this Heart of Love for Janet UK. He just shakes his head. After a couple years, I think he's getting used to it, yeah. He's like, you making a video today? Are you making a video today? What are you making a video about? I said, I have to sew the heart. I might have to trim across the bottom here a little bit. It looks pretty uneven. I'm going to go right through the water. I laid all these characters out ahead of time and just used a touch of glue stick to put them down. And this way it was all ready to stitch, and I just took it into the other room. And that seemed to work out very well. I'm getting close to the edge on the other side. Gotta come in a little bit better. Almost to the end. I'm gonna try and put the knot inside here by the loop. Got my needle nanny right there. Okay, as I was going around, I was thinking I didn't sew over here, so maybe I'll come back with maybe the orange and put a couple of X's right there or over here too. I think everything else is sewn down. Everything's pretty secure. I want to be careful doing this though here. Good enough, good enough. My tea's a funny color because I put almond milk in there. Warm it up a little bit. We're taking a little break. We're going to do just a little bit more on this and then that'll be finished. But while the tea is still warm, let's try these biscuits. They've been baking these biscuits since 1839. 1839. Oh, it's one great big pack, okay. Ooh. Should I put this in my journal? Packaging. I love packaging. And it looks just like the picture on the package. This one's cracked a little bit. Well, they've come all the way across the pond, haven't they? Yes. I've tasted something like this before. I'm trying to remember what it was. It's dry, but I like dry biscuits. Those Butterbeer biscuits, yes, the packaging was nice. And the biscuits were dry. They're cookies. We call them cookies. But the flavor left a little something to be desired, yes. Because I like butterbeer. And I don't know, I just wasn't getting that butterbeer vibe. Now, butterbeer is from the movie Harry Potter. And they do make a soda, and I've had the soda. Well, I had the butterbeer down in Disney Land in Florida. Disney World is in Florida. Disney World in Florida. And it was good. It was really good. And then I bought the butterbeer soda. That was pretty flavorful too. So I was expecting the cookies to have a lot of that flavor. And they didn't. A little bit of flavor, but not real flavorful. Of course, these don't have a lot of flavor either, do they? So I'm going to have to reconsider my evaluation of the butterbeer biscuits. Yes. Do you dip? Do you dip your biscuits in the tea? Is that allowed? Is that an English thing or is that an American thing? Please comment below. We have these cookies that are in the shape of like little flowers with a hole in the middle. And I used to put them on my fingers like this, with your fingers sticking through. And that's what this reminds me of. This is a little bit more crispy than those were, though. I like them. Definitely good with a cup of tea. Definitely. Digestives. It's like a butter cookie. Is there butter in here? It doesn't say. It doesn't come out and say butter, but it tastes like a butter cookie. It's got a good flavor. I like it. Yes, I do. Digestives. These are sold in the UK and other places. And our local grocery stores just happen to have lots of English cookies. Yeah. Well, what do you want? And I've said this before, so if you're a long-time Awesome Possum Peep, you'll remember. But I have a few new Possum Peeps. Welcome, welcome. 100,000 welcomes. Well, I live in southern New England. Yes, southern New England, right? And just north of New London, which is on the Thames River. Yes, it is. And I live in the Westminster section of Canterbury. All very English, right? All very proper. They don't call it the Thames here. They call it the Thames River. Yeah. I think that's how they pronounce it in England, right? The Thames River. But here in New England, southern New England, right? They call it the Thames River. The Thames River. Thames. Thames. But it's New London on the Thames River, like London on the Thames River. Anyway, okay, well, excellent break. Put these biscuits away. I guess they could be addicting, right? I might have one later. I might have another one later, folks. But right now, all I need is just a very few more stitches to finish this up. And it's going to be the morning dove o'clock in 3 minutes. But I take that back. It is the morning dove o'clock. Singing her song. All right, so let's switch cameras again and finish this up. And then I might start another project. Just spend a few more minutes. Yes, just a few more minutes. Doing a little sketching. Oh, I already sewed them together. Duh. That's okay. Okay, now this is going to be a little tricky because I've already sewed these together. Now the X's can go through to both sides. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. I'm just going to put a couple of X's. All right, this is going to be a little tricky, so I'm going to put a knot at the end. I'm going to start from the inside. make that disappear as much as I can. And then I'm going to make an X. Now I have an X on this side, but this side's not finished. So I'm going to just go through a single layer here, come out down here. There, now there's an X on both sides. And I'm going to put one down here. I'm just trying to hold this fabric down, this material down. And finish the X on this side. And then I'm going to run the needle all the way down on the inside till I get down to here. Now I've got 2 orange X's there, 2 on that side, and that's being held down. And let's see if I can get 2 down here, looking to see what I'm doing on the other side. I should have done this before I sewed them together. No problem, just would have been a little easier. And then going up this way, but not all the way through. I know, I take anything that's easy to do and make it super complicated. Where I want to go is right there and just put one more X. So I'm going to run it inside to way down there, okay. And the very last stitch be right here. I had so much fun making this Heart of Love for Janet, yes. I love it, I love it. Well, Janet, I hope you're going to love it too. So this will get packed up, maybe with a few other little goodies, not much, and sent off across the pond. I've got all these sweetheart conversation candies here from the live. And I said I wanted to do like a sketch. I don't think I'm going to have time to finish it today, but I'll give you my idea. Oh, and while Bex was watching my very first live, she did a journal page and it's in her flip through. I'll link that. Yes, maybe on my community page. I'll link that. Okay, I'm trying to hold this so that I can see a little bit of the edge. Oh, should I make them all the same size, just like the hearts are? Then you need a template. Oh, I just happen to have a template here. Oh, this will be easier. Yes, this is what we can do. All right, so if you put the hearts like that. Ooh, yes, that is perfect, isn't it? Possum perfect. Well, I probably won't have time to finish this all today, but I just wanted to show you what I was doing. I'm going to take this little template now and cover this page in hearts. This is going to take a while because, see, I don't want them to be flat like this. Well, some of them may be flattish, because what I want to do is look at the heart at different angles and give it a little bit of that 3-dimension like that. And then sort of comes around. Just sort of comes out like this. It's weird. It doesn't have to be perfect. See if I can make it a little three-dimensional. Angle kind of goes off like that. And then it just kind of rounds this corner a little bit. See, if I turn this one this way, I see very little up here. I'm trying to get the angle here. It's very, very deceptive when you do this. It's actually kind of going straight down, parallel with the edge of the paper. And even though it doesn't look like it, I think this one is too. And it's just because the bottom is roundy, you could kind of almost see it coming around like that. Maybe not that much. Maybe not that much. Like that. Okay, now this one is straight on. Trying to get a good perspective here. I can kind of see, I can see the top just a little bit, but then that would run into that. But would it go like this? Maybe. We might get better as we go along. These are the little red hearts that I painted with the leftover red paint, working on my car, which, or truck, needs another coat. Like I said, everything's still on the table. Okay, now if it's going this way, I see a little bit here. And let's just do, this doesn't have to be a sharp angle here. This could be a roundy angle a little bit, I think. As long as it's somewhat parallel with the edge of the paper, I think that'll work. I think that'll work. Like that. And then these are all the hearts here that were pulled for different people during the live. And then I'm going to paint them. And when I'm done painting, I'm going to put the sayings inside. Like this. Okay, I'm thinking that tomorrow we'll sketch out all these hearts. I'll write in the little sayings, the conversation. I'll go over it with the Micron pen, which is waterproof, and then I'll get out my watercolors, which are right here, and I'm going to paint these in with watercolors, yeah. Then Howard will make a Valentine's Day page. This is Howard. Howdy, Howard. With this in here, I'll get some paper for a background. And I'm going to leave a strip here. And I'm going to do some journaling on the strip over here. So I'll cover up the rest of the page probably. Yeah. And if I have time, I want to give this a second coat. Valentine will hold on to that for me, okay? We got a lot of paint on the table now. Sewing and paint and journaling and always something going on here at Soggy Bottom. So you all have to come back tomorrow now, you hear? Happy junk journaling. Bye-bye. Let's take a break from sketching hearts for just a moment to find out what's going on in cat country. In the last episode, the hairy cats were putting their heads together to figure out what kind of school they could create that the cat kids would want to go to. Hairy Cat went off to see all the other hairy cats and they discussed it between them. Then they told the home cats in the superstore cafeteria that they would be opening a school the next week. All the kids came at first. It was a bit of a riot because the hairy cats hadn't really got enough to tell them or enough things for them to do. So after a while, the crowd thinned out a bit. Then the cats got more schools opened and it began to make a bit more sense. There weren't any desks. The hairy cats, who are now teacher cats, spread themselves out all over the school space, inside and outside, wherever they could find a corner. Each one did something different. Some answered the question why. Some had hammers and saws and wood and metal and made things. Some cooked meals and had a make-believe house in one large room. Some read books, some painted pictures, some danced and sang, some made clothes, some made up games indoors and outdoors, some told stories, some sat and did nothing whatsoever but think. They got called the Think Cats. The kids went to school if they wanted to. Some kids learned how to use tools and make things. Some learned to say why to everything. Some danced and sang and got very good at it. Some read books all day long because they wanted to. Some painted pictures. Some made beautiful clothes for themselves and for those who weren't so good at it. Some played about outside all day. Some just sat and thought. Some did everything. Some did absolutely nothing. Some didn't go at all, but the ones who didn't go got curious about what the ones that did go were doing. They went to find out. Scruff Cat's kids stayed and stayed and stayed because they wanted to.